Welcome to Real Estate Weekly, a 30-minute program providing you information on the real estate market today, featuring Brian Stuckey, Dan Lawson, and Tracy Knapp. And now, Dan Lawson.
Hello and welcome to Real Estate Weekly. My name is Dan Lawson. I'm here with Tracy Knapp, and today we hope you learn quite a bit from our program and find it very entertaining. We'll start our program, as usual, with our Real Estate Climate segment. I'll be interviewing Cindy Simone from Realty World, a familiar face to Real Estate Weekly, and she'll be talking about 3 mistakes commonly made by sellers. You want to stay tuned for that. Tracy?
Tonight on our weekly spotlight, we have Kai Deering with Prepaid Legal Services. Kai works with a very interesting company. I think their services are something that everyone can benefit from. You'll want to hear more about it. And she's also going to talk a little bit about identity theft, which I think is a concern for everyone.
Of course.
Yeah?
Thanks, Trace.
Welcome to our weekly spotlight. Tonight we have with us Kai Deering with Prepaid Legal Services. Thanks for being on the show.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure.
So tell us a little bit about what Prepaid Legal Services are.
Well, Prepaid Legal Services has been around for about 32 years, and their vision was really to make equal justice under law a reality. And so for the last 32 years or so, we've been really providing equal access to the justice system for middle-income Americans as well as small business owners.
So my understanding of Prepaid Legal Services is that you pay a set amount each month. It's kind of like an insurance for legal services, right? And then you have access to a group of attorneys.
Correct. So prepaid legal is to attorney fees, sort of what major medical is to hospitalizations and doctor bills. So what we do is for a small monthly fee each and every single month, we give them access to top quality attorneys nationwide as well as into Canada. And so we provide them a whole host of services that they might need.
What kind of services?
Well, so have you ever been treated unfairly or received a traffic ticket, or we know folks sign things every day that they don't fully understand. And so what we do is we give them access to have their documents reviewed. We know that they're 3 times more likely to end up in a courtroom than you are a hospital. And so if you think about it, I mean, have you ever had a speeding ticket before?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever signed anything you didn't fully understand?
Probably,
okay.
Yeah.
So what we do is we provide affordable access for unlimited telephone consultation, document review, letters and phone calls on the member's behalf when they deem it's in their best interest, and a whole host of other services as well.
So do you have any case studies, situations where people have benefited from the prepaid legal services?
Oh, absolutely. So for instance, we had a member up in Hercules that was able to get their refinance documents reviewed. And as a result of that, was able to save about $25,000 due to back-end points and fees that would have been financed over 30 years. So we have a ton of testaments of customers who have been able to access the legal system and find out what their rights were before having to check their pocketbook.
We talk a lot about situations like that on this show where you know, there are good lenders and bad lenders where, you know, maybe they're not being upfront in the beginning and they're not working with somebody who's going to fully explain that paperwork. So in a situation like that, I can see where it would be a benefit. Any other examples?
Yes, I would say that, for instance, my mother, I'll give you a great example. She had a contractor come out and put the roof on her home. He never came back to put the gutters back on. So that absolutely happens. And most of the time, I think we pick up the phone and try to call the contractor and leave voicemails, etc. Well, what this allowed my mother to do, for instance, was be able to pick up the phone, speak to an attorney, have the attorney review the documentation that she had pertaining to this particular contractor. They were able to write a letter on her behalf requesting this gentleman to come back and put the gutters back on the home. And boom, over a holiday weekend in the rain, the contractor was back out putting the gutters back on the home. So
wow, fantastic.
absolutely, we love empowering people, especially with homes. That's the most expensive purchase you're going to make. So we found that families too often do not have you know, updated wills in place and trusts, etc. And when you have a home, that's obviously a new purchase, and you'll need to get those documents updated and back into place as well.
What about the cost? Is it an expensive service or very affordable from what I understand?
Well, I think it's kind of fun that for less than a cup of coffee a day, you get access to top-rated, hand-selected quality law firms nationwide. So our family plan ranges to our small business plans that go up from there depending on how many employees that you have in your company. So absolutely, so we can protect small business owners as well as a family.
Now what about accessibility? Because I would imagine that the attorneys you know, have other clients, and so what is the accessibility for the members of Prepaid Legal?
That's a great question, and we actually, when you call your attorney, you're able to get a call back within 8 hours, and the American Bar Association says the #1 consumer complaint they get is attorneys don't call them back. We have a closed provider panel system which allows the members to be able to have access with a very short leash, if you will, on those attorneys so that they are very motivated to get back to their clients timely. We're their #1 client. You know, they represent Sony, Nissan, AAA of North America, but Prepaid Legal clients collectively are their #1 clients.
That's
right?
fantastic.
Yes.
And I know that you have a section of Prepaid Legal Services that addresses identity theft, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute.
I would love to.
We have a quick public service announcement, and we'll be right back with Kai Deerling of Prepaid Legal Services on our weekly spotlight. Welcome back to our weekly spotlight with Kai Deering of Prepaid Legal Services. Kai, we were talking a little bit about the Prepaid Legal Services, and I know you handle identity theft as well. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. It's the nation's fastest growing white-collar crime out there right now. I believe statistically it's about 1 in 4 are victims whether they know it or not. Right now, California really tops the nation in identity theft. In fact, San Jose, of all cities in California, is the 5th most hit with identity theft in the state.
Wow.
So we have a huge, huge problem out there. I think that one of the things that separates us apart from a lot of the other identity theft services out there is the fact that we actually have recently partnered with a company by the name of Kroll Worldwide. They're another 32-year-old publicly traded company as well, and they're the #1 risk management consulting firm on the globe. So they certainly are able to help us do restoration, which is the piece of it that really sets us apart.
What are the most common forms of identity theft? How are the criminals doing or using different ways of getting to people's information, and how does your company address that or help it?
Okay, so if you've ever received one of those spoofing emails in your email box that asks you to update your personal information, that's one way. We know that there's a 76% increase in that right now. I think about 15% fall victim to that crime. Additionally, if you've ever given your identity or, excuse me, your visa to a waiter or a waitress at a restaurant, they brought down a ring in February in San Jose of folks who were getting identities that way. They can certainly lift your wallet out of your purse or out of the automobile. So people say to me all the time they shred their information, but you can't control the fact that there's hackers that hacked into you know, unemployment department, visas and things like that where they can get your sensitive information that way. So everyone is at risk. And I'd say by 2010 it's been estimated that it'll be 1 in 2 will be victims.
Wow.
They catch less than 5%, so
yeah,
it's important.
They're overwhelmed, from what I understand, with cases that it doesn't have to be something like over $100,000 in damage.
And that's why they catch less than 5% of these criminals. So what we do is our clients actually sign a limited power of attorney. So in the event that there's been an inquiry, a change of address, a line of credit opened in your name, we actually have Kroll licensed investigators behind the scenes on their behalf calling the DMVs, calling the repositories, making sure that their good name is put back to where it was. And that'll help them be able to refinance their homes, buy, you know, purchase homes in the future. We've seen a lot of folks be denied credit on a refinance or, you know, dream home, if you will. So.
Wow. How are most people, how is it brought to their attention that they've become a victim?
Well, typically it takes your average identity theft perpetrator about 45 minutes to an hour to steal your identity. The typical and average victim doesn't find out for about a year and a couple of months later. When they go to refinance, like I said, purchase a home, purchase a car, etc., and they have been denied. Or you may receive late calls from credit collections companies, etc.
Wow. What exactly is the cost for the identity theft portion of Prepaid Legal?
So we cover a member and spouse or domestic partner, so it's actually 2 social security numbers for one price of. Again, we'll do daily monitoring, not just monthly, weekly. We do daily monitoring, and again, alert you immediately if anything erroneous has popped up.
Wonderful.
And start the restoration right away. So
seems very inexpensive for the damage that somebody can do.
And we are definitely the best program out there on the market today. So you're right.
Great. Thanks so much for being a part of the show. Kai Deering is with Prepaid Legal Services. If you'd like more information about Kai, you can email us on our website at www.reweeklytv.com, and her phone number's on the screen. So thanks, Kai, again.
Thank you so much, Tracy. Appreciate it.
And now our Home and Garden segment.